1045 The Team, 1045theteam.com. It is Big Board Sports. Brady Farkas, Zach By in for Roger on this Tuesday. He's at Giants camp, but the big story in the NFL still is Colin Kaepernick and what's going on out west in San Francisco. We bring in Damon Bruce from 98.7 The Game in San Francisco. Damon, your first reaction when you saw Colin Kaepernick Friday night take the stand by not standing for the national anthem, just what was your gut?
Okay, so no one saw anything Friday night. It wasn't until Saturday morning that really the world found out about it. It escaped every gaze in the press box but one. And then after the game is when we really learned all about this for the very, very first time. Now, look, this is such a sensitive topic. I feel like we need to put a few disclaimers down before anyone starts talking about anything so nobody misinterprets the improperly worded sentence as, oh, that's racism. No, it's not. I support and defend Colin Kaepernick's right to do what he did. But I'm completely convinced in my heart of hearts that he took the worst mode of transportation available to the message that he was trying to send. This is an incredibly touchy subject. And to step into a touchy subject that makes a lot of people confronted by it uncomfortable or defensive, to springboard into this subject off of a national anthem protest, I think so muddles up the message that you're trying to send. It's about the worst way you could possibly do it. And there's some symbolism in there now with Colin Kaepernick, where he is in his career. This is a race story, but it's also framed in a football story. And there's two very interesting things going on that kind of run opposite against each other with Colin Kaepernick.
Damon, is San Francisco viewing this Colin Kaepernick situation like the rest of the country, or do they possibly have a different viewpoint, being how liberal and progressive that city is?
Well, look, San Francisco is always 5 years ahead of the consciousness of America. It really is like that. And there's no doubt there will be more sympathy extended to any cause here, probably more than anywhere else. I'll also remind you that San Francisco is also a huge military town. We are a bay city. We've got a lot of military in our town. So, there's also that in play here. This is a very patriotic town, believe it or not. For those who just think we're all pinko, commie, hippie, liberals, it's not that way at all out here. But, it's a very educated place. I think you got more college grads in San Francisco than anywhere else. And so, an intellectual approach is an easier path to take here than in other places that are fueled by anger and gut reaction, and the first to show the most amount of outrage, gets the highest ratings, that sort of thing. There's an interesting, nuanced thing going on here. I don't think you can frame it any one way. You have to look at it from a ton of different angles, and that's what we've been doing since this happened. And I'll tell you, Colin Kaepernick does get credit for adding volume to a conversation about race that we were having in America, and he gets some credit there. But I just don't think, what does he do next is my question. What's Colin Kaepernick do over the next year to really contribute to the causes of social justice and Black Lives Matter or police brutality? Let's see what his next few steps are before we gauge his sincerity, his lack thereof, I've seen articles over the past couple days comparing him to Rosa Parks and Jesse Jackson. I just think that's completely intellectually dishonest. We don't know enough yet. He sat down, he had one press conference, he says he'll keep sitting, and when he thinks everything's okay in America, he'll stand again. So are you telling me the night Colin Kaepernick stands, America will be completely racist-free? And what kind of message is he sending as a, in air quotes, leader of the team, as much as a backup quarterback can be a leader of a football team? What kind of message is he sending to his teammates? If you don't sit down with me, you're some kind of Uncle Tom who, approves police brutality. This is what happens. This is the muddled mess you get into when you try to interpret your beliefs trumping what the national anthem is supposed to stand for. And, it's the right that he's guaranteed to do. But like all people who think that free speech is totally free, you'll find it isn't. There are a lot of consequences to pay. I think Colin's message was just the way he went about sharing the message certainly got a lot of attention on it. But are we talking about police brutality? Are we talking about Black Lives Matter? Or are we talking about how to stand for the national anthem, patriotism, nationality, the military, respecting dead soldiers, that sort of thing? And then we're talking about the topic he wanted to bring up. I just feel like his action was going to be received so negatively that it almost automatically takes what he wants talked about and puts it at the caboose of the thought train.
Damon Bruce, radio host in San Francisco, with us, Big Board Sports on 104.5 The Team and 104.5theteam.com. Brady Farkas and Zach.
By the way, can I just say that I grew up watching Roger Weiland, Big Board Sports, and listening to Big Board Sports in Schenectady. Like, I'm thrilled to be on this show. Tell Raj I hope he's having a great vacation. He seriously is like one of the guys that made me want to get into sports. I'm not even kidding. I'm a Roger Weiland OG.
Well, he is in Giants camp today having his one-on-one with Ben McAdoo. I will make sure he gets the message. And look, I'm 26 years old. It's an honor for me to be sitting in the chair across from him as well. So you and I have that both in common, Damon.
That's awesome.
So back to Colin Kaepernick and the NFL. Kind of two questions, maybe more on a rapid fire for you here. Roger thinks that maybe there's even a chance that Colin Kaepernick could have been cut all along by the 49ers. I disagreed with him because of the money he is making, and do they really want to go into the season with only Blaine Gabbert as a quarterback with experience? Do you think that the 49ers could have cut Colin Kaepernick, and now are their backs against the wall to not cut him so as to not look like they've cut him for the wrong reason?
And herein lies the rub of the reason why this doesn't totally sit as a genuine act with me. Because he's also an athlete desperately trying to hold on to his career and his status on this team. And look, I don't know if Colin Kaepernick can play in the NFL well anymore. It doesn't look like he can. He's half the man he used to be in terms of physical stature. His muscles are so atrophied. The only thing that looks similar about Colin Kaepernick from this year to last year is, okay, those are still the tattoos, but they look like they're on someone else's arms, and your play is just as awful in the preseason as it was last season, and you got benched over that. I mean, it really does start to look like this is a guy who was a great gimmick for a moment in time that the league has officially caught up with, and then it comes down to not physical talent, but smarts. And I'm not calling Colin Kaepernick dumb, but he might not be the fastest processor of football information we've ever seen. And I think he is not grasping the Chip Kelly offense, and that's what has separated Gabbert, who is also a C- at best, from Colin Kaepernick, who looks to be a C-, and then you add all the other stuff. It's not good for him. He's in a bad place. And imagine if they keep him, they have to play him, and he sustained some kind of injury where he's on the roster next April 1st. Now they owe him $14 million. It could be time to say goodbye and thank him for the memories.
Damon Bruce, radio host, San Francisco, a former Schenectadyite, so we're always happy to have him here. Now Big Board Sports, 104.5 The Team, Brady and Zach in for Roger today. And Damon, one of the things that has rubbed me the wrong way in this, because I, like you, support his right to make his own decisions and support freedom of speech, but I just can't get over the fact that opening weekend of the NFL season is the weekend of September 11th. How could Colin Kaepernick, how do you think Colin Kaepernick handles this? Does he make an exception to his stand 3 weeks in for 9/11? Does he do something else? If he's on the roster and dressed, do you think he changes something up just because of that day?
I don't know. I mean, isn't that what we're going to be tuning in to find out for? And there is another reason that the 49ers might think of just pulling the number on him. I mean, it's, there are certain rules about football teams, and here is one of them that anyone who ever played football completely understands. This has got nothing to do with message or race or anything. The guy who says nothing is always the backup quarterback. Shut up. The backup quarterback cannot be a distraction to a football team in any way, shape, or form. Don't tell me this hasn't been a distraction. Every single 49er has been asked about it. Everyone is being talked about it. They didn't like Kaepernick very much in that room to begin with, over snaking Alden Smith's girlfriend, Nessa. There's so much going on here, I can't even tell you. So the amount of friends he has in the room, I think, are shrinking by the day, and the amount of allies he has in the organization are almost down to zero now. And I think the 49ers, they know that there'll be a little – here's the thing. There's backlash if you keep them. There's backlash if you cut them. So now it's about roster and cap space. That says you cut them.
Damon Bruce in San Francisco. Damon, I got one more question for you, and I think – while everyone in America would agree that there are racial issues, socioeconomic issues that need to be addressed, I don't think anyone really knows how to go after it. I was a fan. I applauded Carmelo Anthony, a guy who's a lightning rod here, for his panel discussion in L.A. between inner-city community members and police. That seemed to go largely unreported, and it was in one place in one conversation. Colin Kaepernick has everyone talking, but it might be for the wrong reasons. I don't know I don't know how to go about this, especially for pro athletes. And I want your thoughts on that.
Well, here's the deal. I do know how to go about it. The only way you solve racism, the only way you solve sexism, the only way you solve any ism is through education. Education is the key to unlocking a better future, a better tomorrow. That's the only thing. Funding scholarship programs, funding activities for kids to get out of the city, go into the woods, campership scholarship, things like that. Getting kids together across all races by funding sports programs. I don't think that there is anything in the world that tears down racial issues quicker than we're all dressing together in the same locker room, we're all on the same team, and I got to drive in this run from third. It doesn't matter what color he is. It doesn't matter what color I am. There's something beautiful about sports. Fund programs that encourage cooperation and cohesion. That's how you go about doing it. Colin Kaepernick has a lot of money. Put your money where your mouth is. What do you do next? If he does an awful lot next, we will know his sincerity. If he's back posting walls of sneakers on Instagram 3 weeks from now, we'll know that this was a moment in time that, looking back on it, might be a little hard to explain if he doesn't follow up through now.
Colin Kaepernick, the story still again on this Tuesday. Damon Bruce, radio host in San Francisco, giving us the answers. We will tell Roger what an inspiration you were, or he was for you. He's been an inspiration to me and anyone, a lot of other people in the Capital Region as well. So Damon Bruce in San Francisco, radio host out there, off in a great career in his own right. We'll miss you back here in the Capital Region. Hopefully we'll catch up with you again the next time you're in the 518.
You got it. Take care. Thanks so much for having me on.